Hope everyone had a great extended weekend. Let's get maybe a few gratitudes or victories from the crowd. Anything fun, exciting on George Washington's birthday or close to it, right?
Yeah.
You guys knew that?
Yeah.
But Washington, I think, is the 22nd, and I believe Lincoln is earlier in the month of February. So that's why President's Day is in February.
Oh. We split the difference.
Yeah, they split the difference.
There you go. So yesterday I was out showing a home to one of my clients and kind of had a heart-to-heart conversations like, hey, you gotta get serious about this. If you know, we got to be approved for one house before. And,
yeah,
he kind of he's dragging his feet a little bit. And so I kind of was able to tell him, like, kind of being more bold, just being, more direct with people.
Yeah.
In a kind way. I wasn't like
yelling
at him or anything.
Sure.
But
sure.
It was cool to see kind of like that, him accepting my leadership.
Yeah.
Me taking it, that role more seriously and not just being like, okay, I'll do anything for you,
Right.
Instead of coming from a place of desperation, but coming from a place of leadership and a place of wanting to help. It was cool to just kind of see that. I almost instantly in his face. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that.
That's cool. I love it. It's great. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else? No? Okay. All right. Well,
You guys awake? Hello.
everyone's awake. All right.
Amy, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
I had a victory. So many of you guys know that I'm training for the Salt Lake Marathon, and on Sunday to keep my train, I was down in St. George for my daughter's soccer tournament. I ran 16 miles.
Did you really? Was that the first time? Good for you.
So I'm still walking today.
I was gonna say,
Reminds me of the story of David Goggins. If you read the book?
You can't hurt me.
Yeah, you can't hurt me.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you. That's great. Can't hurt Nick.
Can't hurt me. I don't know. Yesterday when I woke up, I ran like 3 miles and I was pretty slow. It was like a recovery run just to kind of get my legs.
But you did it.
But yeah, it's good.
That's awesome. I haven't even imagined running 16 miles. Let alone actually doing it. Like, anybody else?
I can't imagine doing 3 miles right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, without further ado, not even sure what that means, but we'll get it to John.
I think it's French. But what do I know?
Yeah.
All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, we're gonna do that again. But you guys are really low energy. Did you guys take some time off?
Mm-hmm.
No, I was saying no. Well, and it doesn't surprise me because you're the one that's most energetic this morning. So, Isaac, did you take some time off?
No, I had showing yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd they go?
Yeah, we were with a new client with the buyer. So
All right. How about that big beautiful home in Alpine? Any action on that?
got a showing last week.
Did you really?
Yeah.
He's got a 1 point. Is it 1.9?
2.1.
2 point. Well, yeah. Who's counting?
Well, it might be 1.9.
I mean, it should be, right? It's great. All right, well, good. You got a showing. All right, good. Well, so let me, I've got 3 principles I want to share with you this morning, but let me share with you a story. So anybody have any kids, grandkids okay, thank you. You're eager. That's great.
I like it a lot. So
Any swimmers?
likes the water.
He likes the water. Okay, well, so my oldest daughter, Gabrielle, was a swimmer, and she ended up being the swim team captain for Hillcrest. And I would go as much as I could to her swim meets. In fact, have anybody ever been to a swim meet? Yes. Okay, so a couple of people. Nick, you've never been to a swim meet?
No.
Good for you. Yeah. So one of the jokes that they say, and did you have kids who were in swim?
No, it was just for somebody else.
Okay. Well, if you've ever been to swim meets a lot, like I have, then you will identify with. I'm going to tell you the joke anyway. Somebody said that if they had to spend just their last day, or they were told they only had one more day to live, that they would want to spend that time at a swim meet. You know why? You know why?
Why?
Come on, gang. You know why? The swim meets never end. They go on and on and on.
That's crazy there.
It's ridiculous. They start early in the morning and they go on until the end of the day. The day runs out. It's crazy. It is. It's like they never end. But I was at one of our swim meets. We were actually down at BYU, and I want to say it was state. Good morning, welcome. she'd already swam one of her heats. It was, I don't know which stroke it was this time, but I'm standing there with her. And, we're waiting. She keeps watching the board and to see when she's going to start. And we're just talking, making small talk. And the next thing she knows, she hears this, like the buzzer go off, like a race is actually started. She looks in the water because she kind of turned around, looks in the water. Well, all the people in her heat are already swimming. She kept checking the board and didn't see her name up on the board. Well, if you know enough about swimming, which we know now, that your name doesn't show on the board until the buzzer goes off and you're in the water. They don't give you heads up like these are the next swimmers, right? It's just not the way it works. So everybody else has got like a 3 by the time she gets up onto the block and she jumps into the water, has like a 3-4 second start. Because we're not standing right there. We got to get over to the block, and she gets on her block, she dives in, she's dead last. There are 8 lanes and she is dead last. And number one, I was just impressed that she actually jumped in, because I just would have freaked my mind as a 15, 16-year-old. I can't believe I just did this, embarrassed, right? When I just hide. But she dives in, and I'm watching her. I don't remember how many, if it was 2 laps, I don't remember. But anyway, I'm watching her. She passes the 7th place person, and she passes the 6th place person. She passes the 5th place person. And remember, she started with like a 3 or 4 second deficit. Well, by the time she was done, she actually finished 2nd in this heat. Right. I was like blown away by this whole thing. And she comes up out of the water, checks the board to see where she finished. She finished number 2. She gets out. We were like high-fiving, like, that was awesome. And I said to her, if you'd have started at the right time, you would have gotten 1st place in this heat. She said, yeah, she was kind of disappointed by that, but we were still celebrating. Well, within a matter of about 30 seconds, one of the judges walked up to her and handed her this little slip. It was pink. And she'd never been handed a pink slip before at a swim meet. Or ever, right? And she opens it up. Well, it's a DQ form. She was disqualified. She was disqualified because she was not on the block when the buzzer went off. And if you're not on the block when the buzzer goes off, you're automatically disqualified. Well, they didn't prevent her from swimming. They just gave her a DQ afterwards. And of course, as you might imagine, she was probably a little bit what? She was disappointed. In fact, she started to cry, right? And I was disappointed for her as well, because she was so excited. She went from 2nd place to not even qualifying to be counted at all in the race. And we talked about it. And at the end of the conversation, she said, "You know what? It's okay. It's okay, because at the end of the day, it didn't matter that I didn't officially count. What counted was that I actually did it, and I got 2nd place, which tells me I'm a much better swimmer than I thought that I was, that I can go faster than I thought that I could, right?"
Was on the book, she would have gotten 1st place.
She would have definitely gotten 1st place, yeah. So at this point, she was not the swim team captain. Well, she eventually became the swim team captain, and I believe that particular experience enabled her to get to the point where she became the swim team captain, because she realized just how good she could be, that she was. So there were 3 things that I took from that conversation. I just want to share these principles with you. Number 1 is this: don't give up. Don't give up. So I just want you to think about, your goal that you set this year, whether it was a personal goal or it was a business goal. Where are you? Where's your frame of mind with that goal? Because things in this world are challenging. The market is definitely challenging, and depending upon your experience so far and how things are going, we have a tendency to want to give up if things aren't going well. I don't know who said it, but I think it may have been Les Brown. Les Brown said, well, it's always easy to be optimistic when things are going well. It takes somebody who's truly mentally strong to be optimistic when things are not going well. So my question for you is, are you pushing forward, or are you finding yourself, most people don't do this like overnight, just give up. But over time, piecemeal, little by little, they allow themselves to give up. right? So maybe they continue to go to the gym, but maybe they don't work as hard. Maybe they don't go as often. Maybe they don't stay at the gym as long. Maybe in terms of prospecting, maybe you're not doing it 5 times a week. Maybe you're doing it 4 or maybe 3. Or you said you do it for 3 hours a day and you're not. You're doing it for maybe 2 or maybe for 1. Maybe you're doing it every other day and maybe you're doing it for just a half an hour. Maybe you said you were going to get on the phone and prospect as well as knock doors, and maybe you're not knocking the doors, you're just making the phone calls, or the reverse. Whatever it is, are you giving up? The thing is that it doesn't just happen overnight. It's like the frog in the pot, where you turn up the heat and you do it slowly, as opposed to doing it very quickly. If you turn the heat up on the frog very quickly, what's the frog going to do? It's in the pot. It's going to jump out. It's going to realize, oh my gosh, this water's hot. I got to get out. Or I'm going to what? I'm going to get boiled alive. But if you turn it up slowly, what happens to the frog? It acclimates and then eventually just does what in the pot? It boils and it dies. Right? So number 1, don't give up. Number 2, believe that you can. Believe that you can. You know, when I say that phrase, believe that you can, it reminds me of the Wright brothers. So when they finally did what they did at Kitty Hawk, where they took flight, what was interesting is that 2 weeks before that they did that, the New York Times, Amy, literally published a story that said that it was impossible for man to take flight, and that if it did ever happen, it would take 10 million years. I looked it up. I read the article. Very interesting. They said it was absolutely impossible, but if it were to happen, the technology would be about 10 million years away from us being able to do that. Now, you might look at it now and say, well, that's stupid. That's ridiculous. And of course, with hindsight, of course, we know that's ridiculous. But people believed back in 1903, 2 weeks prior to what the Wright brothers did, that it was absolutely impossible to take flight the way that they did. And yet that they did it. So my question for you is, if you've never done it before, right? Do you just say to yourself, well, I've never done it, so therefore it's not possible. I can't do it. Which then leads me to the third principle. Write this one down. Before you do write it down, I want you to just listen to it. I need to derive my sense of self-confidence not from the results that I get, but rather from the process. That is such a critical statement. Really important. I need to derive my sense of self-confidence not from the results that I get, but from the process. Let me say it one more time. You can write it down, Caesar. I need to derive my sense of self-confidence not from the results that I get, but from the process. You might say, what do you mean the process? The system, whatever it is, like the Everest system, like the 12 steps to the summit of success, like the things that we know that we need to do. It's like, for example, a diet, right? Do you know which diet will work? The one you stick to, right? They all work. They do. They all work. The challenge is sticking to it. The challenge is for most people, they don't stick with it long enough that it doesn't work for them, right? And so I'm guilty of it. I've gone on a diet before, and I'll get on the scale and look at it, and I don't see the results that I want. And so therefore, I think that the diet doesn't what? Doesn't work. Now think about that. I try it, it doesn't work. So therefore, I lack the patience, and then I give up on the system. I give up on that process, and I go try a different one. And that's what people do. They'll try this for a while, it doesn't work. So then they go try something else, and they try something else and something else. And they're resigned to the fact that either it doesn't work at all, or it doesn't work for whom? For them. That somehow Amy's just special. She was born that way. So I wasn't born that way. So therefore, I can't accomplish what she's accomplished. And the truth is, as much as I love and adore Amy, the fact is, I've known her long enough that she's seen significant amount of growth. She's changed who she is in terms of her perspective and activities that allows her to produce at the level that she has. Because ultimately, she trusted the process and just stayed engaged in it. So my question for you is, do you really trust the process? And really, the word that I would use is faith. Do you have faith in the process? Because here's what I know, the system works. It does. That 12 steps to the summit of success, it works. My question is, do you work? Do you work for it? Because any of those systems out there in terms of a diet will work as long as you stick with the system. But if you abandon it, you try it here and there. It's like saying, well, I'll try it once a week. And then at the end of the month, weigh and see if I see any results. Well, you're not going to, because you didn't stick with the what? The system. Michael Jordan, do you know what percentage of his shots he actually made? More than that.
It's like 45.
63%.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
63%. Pretty high, right?
That's good.
But it tells you basically he still missed 4 out of what? 4 out of 10. Yeah, 4 out of 10. He missed 4 out of 10 shots. Now think about that. The greatest basketball player, I believe, to ever play the game. You gonna argue with me on that one? Don't say LeBron. Come on!
We'll talk.
Really? Yeah. All right. But the greatest basketball player to ever play the game, right, missed 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. And yet, did Michael Jordan, did he stop taking the shots even though he missed 4 out of 10? No, he kept doing what? He kept shooting. And that is what made him the best. Because he, number one, he didn't give up. Every time he took the shot, do you believe that he believed that he could make the shot? Why would he take the shot if he didn't believe that he couldn't make it? How many of you get on the phone and say to yourself, they're not going to say yes. I don't think this is going to work out. You're reluctant to do it because you don't envision the result that you need or that you want. You let your fears take over. You say, they're not going to say yes. So therefore, I don't want to pick up the phone. I don't want to knock on the door. Because if I pick up the phone and they reject me, or I knock on the door and they reject me, how am I going to feel?
Yeah.
I'm not going to feel good. So why would I engage in that process? You're going to say something?
Yeah, this is such a significant lesson. If we really take the time to think about what we do.
Yes.
I was thinking about your daughter, and I've obviously heard that story before.
Yep.
And what she did when something happened and she knew she was supposed to be there, she had an option. Right now, if she hadn't swam at all,
Yep.
she would have had the same result, right?
Right.
Result.
Yep. Result.
She wouldn't have had the same building of herself. I mean, and we talk about this on my team and stuff, is what inspires you, what makes you motivated,
Yeah.
what makes you move, and it's not the same for every person.
Right.
And what I mean is, like, for example, accountability. On some people with accountability, they want a reward.
Yep.
Other people, they want what's the opposite of the
Well, punishment.
consequence.
Consequence. Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
deciding like what is significant to you, what you make. For me, consequence, I'd like to say a reward. I really would, because that seems like it's a better thing, but for me, it's a consequence.
Yeah. For me
If I
too.
gotta pay somebody money, forget that, I'm not doing that, but if I'm gonna go buy myself a pair of boots, hey, what's the
It's okay. Right.
yeah, so knowing exactly what you do, and like if you're behind and you're getting behind, are you the type of person that shuts down?
Yeah.
Are you like, for me, I a lot of my life, I've had to work double hard to catch up or, get there. And so I know that if I've got something to work toward or that's difficult, that's when the best in me comes out, when I'm under pressure.
Yeah.
So sometimes we can create pressure if that's the type of person you are. I mean, figuring out what's for you, because we can listen to you and get motivated by the stuff, but if we do not know ourselves
Yeah. What motivates us.
and what really pushes us, then
Yeah.
we're gonna just spin.
Yeah. I love it. I agree. Yep. Yeah. Good gang. I mean, every day we have a choice. We have a choice as to whether we're going to get on the blocks and swim the race, so to speak. And, not give up. It's easy to give up. We can make all sorts of excuses and say it's because of all these reasons why I don't do it. The market is just the way that it is. So I'm just going to have to wait until the market changes. Right? Inventories are low, interest rates are high, people are unsettled. It's difficult or it's impossible to sell real estate. I talk to agents say, oh yeah, it is so difficult. The market is tough right now. And then I'll talk to another agent just around the corner, ask them how things are going. It's great. I'm so busy. It's amazing. Literally. I had that conversation multiple times last week where one agent said it was really challenging and the next one said, no, it's great. Things have shifted. The question is, are you leaning into the system and deriving your sense of self-confidence from the actual process? It's really important. So you all exercise faith. Did you all get in your car this morning and turn the key or push the button and have faith that it was going to start?
Yeah.
Say yes.
Yes.
You did. Otherwise, you wouldn't have sat in there and turned the key or pushed the button.
That's automatic.
It was automatic?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't even think about it. And yet in the business of real estate, you think and you wonder, well, gosh, I don't know if this is gonna work. Right? It's like, I don't think they're gonna say yes. Can I just give you just one of my axioms or one of my mantras when it comes to prospecting? Say yes.
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 Because whether you say yes or no, I'm gonna tell you anyway, but I want you to at least appear to be participating. So when I'm prospecting, if I'm recruiting or in the business of real estate, if I were making calls, Isaac, these were my two axioms. Number one, I expected they were going to say yes. That is my expectation. They are going to say yes. Why would I pick up the phone or knock on a door if I didn't believe they were going to say yes? And of course I wouldn't, would I? Say no.
No.
No. The only reason I would do it is because I believe that they're going to say yes. But if they don't say yes, this is the second axiom. I'm not surprised. Because if I'm surprised that they say no, I'm surprised that they didn't say yes. What does that do to me mentally and emotionally? What does it do? It messes with me. Yeah, it hurts me. That'd be like a boxer or an NFL player who gets on the gridiron and gets hit by another player and is surprised by getting hit. Should an NFL player be surprised that they got hit by a 300-pound tackle? The answer is no. They should what? They should expect it. And if they expect it, then they're going to be much more what for it? Prepared for it. And if you're prepared for the hit, does it hurt you as much?
No.
Or even at all? Because you can deflect it, you can turn away from it, right? But that's what I see. I see agents who they get tackled, so to speak, they get rejected on the phone or at the door, and then they take it internally, and it's just like, I can't do this. What do you mean you can't do it? Real estate is a contact sport, yes?
Yeah.
You have to be making contact. If you're not making contact, you're not in the game. And if you're not in the game, you're not winning. You can't score points if you're not in the game. Yes.
I love how he said that, and just kind of a spin off of what Amy said. Creating that pressure for yourself. That's the kind of person you are, and expecting that. One of the greats, Kobe,
Mhm.
Bryant. He I listened to him a lot. He said, he was able to take that shot, even though if he missed it, he wasn't disappointed or anything. He's been there before.
Yep.
He's practiced before.
Right.
He's done it before.
Yep.
So he's not afraid to do it. So that's why, I think that leads to greatness. If you're actually doing it and actually participating and actually practicing it,
Just do it.
you've made this shot before.
Yep.
You can do it. So.
Do you know how many versions of the incandescent light bulb, the light bulb that Thomas Edison had to create before he found one that actually worked commercially? Do you know how many? 1,000. Yes, 1,000. 1,000 of them. He didn't know that it was going to work out. He believed that it was, otherwise he wouldn't continue to do it. But it took him 1,000 times before he came up with one. And then guess what? The filament, you got it to work. The problem is it wouldn't last very long. It kept going out over and over and over again. Do you know how many versions of the filament he had to actually invent before he found the one that actually worked? Over 7,000 of them. 7,000. And you try prospecting once or twice or 3 times or 4 times and say, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Really? I'm just telling you, if you'll have trust and faith that it actually works, but then stay engaged in the process, like that diet, you show up every single day, you eat the right stuff. What you're going to find is that over the course of weeks, of months, you're going to get exactly what you want, but you have to be patient with the process. You have to believe, you have to have faith. Just like you have when you get on a plane, you have faith that that pilot knows what they're doing, right?
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
Because if you believe that that pilot didn't know what they were doing, and that you believe that the plane was going to crash, if you actually believe that, you had faith that that was going to happen, would you get on that plane? You wouldn't. And see, some of you believe that that plane, so to speak, prospecting, the process doesn't work. So therefore, you don't get on it. It's like, I'm not doing that. It doesn't work. I don't like the way it feels, and it's not going to work. So therefore, I'll figure out something else to do. And you do all the things that real estate agents, the average real estate agents do, and then convince yourself, well, I'm doing my job. So if I'm doing those things, I feel good about myself and hope that it'll all work out. Well, I can tell you it doesn't work out for the average agent, because the average agent sells between 2 and 3 homes a year and makes the poverty line income. They should go get a job at Walmart, speaking of Walmart this morning, because they make more money doing that. There'd be a lot more security, and they'd actually have some benefits if they did that. So again, remember, number 1, believe. 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 Number 2, what?
Or one. with
Believe that
about
you can,
two
don't
is
give
Thank you, don't give up. Thank you. And then number 3 is what?
Right, since self-confidence from the results I get, not from the, or. but
From the process, right, rather than the results. Yeah, if you do that, I promise you, it'll all work out. The issue is gonna be consistency. I'll just finish with this. Consistency is the great equalizer. I don't care how long you've been in the business. If you will be consistent at the right activities, even if you're not good at those activities, if you'll be consistent at the right activities, I promise you, you will get the results that you want. It's not a question of if, it's only a question of when. And you have to be patient. And if you will, I promise you, you're going to get the results eventually that you want. Make sense?
Yeah.
Amen?
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass around the tin. You better be generous.